When you think of social welfare, what comes to mind?
The different social economic classes.
People with a lot of children getting food stamps, getting a lot of money from the government, taxpayers' money.
Taxes. People getting help from the government and stuff. People who are in really bad situations and need help from the government.
Support for those that need help. People helping each other out. Just helping other people.
Helping society.
Poor families.
The poor.
Inequality.
Economic injustice.
Dependence.
Lazy people.
Why? Because I believe that people use welfare as a way to get away from like actually going out there and like finding a job like how other people do, and that's kind of like not fair for people. And some people actually work their, like they spend most of their day just trying to find a job. Some people might find a job, some people might just be like, no, we don't have a job for you, which is something that I guess I just consider people with welfare like lazy people. Lazy people. Lazy people. Lazy people.
Stats Matter segment tonight. Welfare entitlements are at the highest level in U.S. history, as many Americans see themselves as victims and want the government to help them out. We hand out $79 billion every January to these so-called poor people.
You're not being mean to poor people today.
I am being mean to poor people.
Why?
Frankly, I am.
I don't want to make people's lives better by giving them somebody else's money. I want to give them the opportunity to go out and earn the money.
Welcome back. Well, it may be good to be rich, but it may not necessarily be bad being poor, at least in America.
More and more people are becoming low income. We have 46.5 million Americans today living in poverty, more than any time in history. We have 22% of our kids living in poverty, the highest rate of poverty in the industrialized world. So what these guys are doing are really going to war against seniors, against the kids, against working families who are trying to get by on $9-10 an hour, who just can't feed their families.
Social welfare is the organized public or private social services for the assistance of disadvantaged groups. Social welfare in America arrived on the coattails of the Industrial Revolution. To understand American social welfare, we must first understand the motivations of the people of that time.
Whoa, not that far. Ah, there we go. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was the event when countries went from making hand goods to mass producing goods with machines and factories.
The difference between working on farms or in shops is that in farms and shops you worked for someone you knew and who cared about you, even if it was just a little bit. In factories, however, you worked in horrible conditions with children and with machines who overworked you, and if you got tired and wanted to stop, you would be fired or replaced by someone else.
Betty, get up, Betty. You don't want the overseer seeing you like that. Betty, no, Betty, oh God, no, Betty.
Hey!
Betty,
Get back to work.
Betty is hurt. Betty
You!
is hurt. Betty,
Fill in for her.
Betty,
Okay.
Betty, I'm sorry, Betty.
Up until the trust-busting Theodore Roosevelt, the government stayed away from the private sector, believing in a laissez-faire market, which is basically a market that runs on its own, which led to massive monopolies. The lack of government regulation affected the working class the most. Factory workers lived in claustrophobic tenements, which had little ventilation and were utopias for rats.
Muckrakers exposed the struggles of the working class and the rapacity of industrialists to the middle class. The work of these journalists directly led to the rise of progressivism in America. Progressives demanded reform.
Praise Zeus for thy technology. Barkley, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm seeing what you're seeing.
reporting from a secret meeting at Standard Oil. I'm not supposed to really be here right now, but look at this corruption.
Shall we have a toast to the food provided to us by the working class?
We shall.
But I do feel pressure of the middle class.
Sounds like you don't own enough politicians.
No, but seriously, I feel that I'm feeling the pressure on these people too much.
Did you hire the Pinkertons?
I did, but they're ineffective.
Did you bribe the state militia?
I did, but that didn't seem to work either.
May God help us on our profits.
Blessed Jesus.
Who are you?
Jane, get your gun. We're ready to take on the wealthy class.
Reformers, which consisted of communists, socialists, and progressives, were enraged and fought hard and valiantly for reform. Progressives such as Jane Addams created settlement houses for the less fortunate, which was one of the first examples of social welfare during the Industrial Revolution. These settlement houses were designed to help out those who did not have the ability to learn and get an education.
How successful do you think welfare is?
I think it needs some work, but I think it can be successful.
I definitely think there are some flaws, but I think it has benefited a lot of people and will continue to. But yeah, there definitely are some flaws.
I think it's really successful for people to get back on their feet, find a job, and support themselves again. But I feel like some people abuse it, so it's kind of 50-50.
I think it's complicated because depending on who you ask, people may say different things, but I think that we need it and it's successful for some people and it falls short for others.
Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, like if 10 is like the most successful, it could be like it just helps everyone, and then like 1 being like it just isn't doing anything, I'd say it's like at a 6.
It's successful, but not really, because a lot of people take advantage of it, so it's not really going to the people that actually need it.
Very successful.
I don't think it's that successful because a lot of people abuse it. I mean, I feel like it helps those who really need it, but like I feel like some of the people who really need it don't really get to use it because of the people who abuse it.
Welfare has proved to be a very useful thing in American society. Welfare has allowed people in need to get an income and get food stamps in order to buy food. Thanks to welfare, those who are in need are able to survive and keep their children alive as well. If there were no welfare anymore, there would be quite a few more homeless people compared to what we have today.